Okay. All right. It's recording. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. This is Gamal Yala.
Nathaniel.
All right. And we're the brothers out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. We want to give our praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM,
BAHASHAM.
YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM,
BAHASHAM.
Dash. That belongs to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right. Now this is going to be a response video to this Amalekite. And he goes by the name of Karaite, Jews for Judaism. And he has the video, Black Hebrew Israelite Fake Cult Destroyed. All right. And we're just going to go ahead and get straight to it. I'm going to screen share the video so you brothers can see it. And we'll be pausing it. And we'll be pausing it and then chiming in and doing some cuts. So let me see. Do a screen share. It's lock it there.
Man, that's a bunch of stuff.
Okay, here we go. Hopefully, you brothers can see it. Can you see it on your screen?
Con.
Okay, fine. All right. Here it is right here.
Fake movement claiming to be us is with Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 26 through 27. This is because the entire fake movement is rooted in the made-up idea by them that the Israelites would somehow forget that they were Israelites. The problem with this fake claim is that these fake phonies don't read carefully the text they're presenting. This is why they are not the real Hebrews, because they don't even know how to discern the proper text. It reads, I would, not will, I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men, were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord has not done this. You see that? It clearly reads that God would, not will, would make their remembrance to cease from among men, but he didn't. Why? Because it says he feared the wrath of the enemy and the fact that the nations would have taken credit for blotting out God's people from the.
All right, see that? So, okay. I just wanted y'all brothers to get the full gist of what he's saying. Okay. So this devil right here is basically saying that right there in Deuteronomy 27, oh no, I'm sorry, 32 and 27, he's saying, I would, or no, I'm sorry, 26 says, I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among them. All right. And we're just going to go straight into it and go ahead and cut what he's saying, because that is just semantics. That's all it is. You know, he's trying to use the play on words basically to make his arguments, like the difference between would and will, right? Because really the Most High did, okay? You know, he said he would and he did, right? Because would is past tense. And as a matter of fact, we can go into that word would also. But what did we say we were going to start on?
Jeremiah 9 and 16. I got it.
No, you got it, bro.
Con. This is Jeremiah 9 and 16. And it reads, I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them.
So all right, so there's a conflict right there, because the scripture that he read, all right, in chapter 32, right, in Deuteronomy 32 and 26, he said would, right? Read that again, Babu Shah.
Con. It says, this is Jeremiah 9 and 16. It says, I will scatter them also among the heathen.
I will. See that?
I will.
So does that mean the scripture, does that mean it's a contradiction there? You know, does that mean that I mean, what does that mean? You know, and that's the question that I posed to this guy who claims that he knows the scriptures and claims that he's trying to debunk the Israelites or whatever. But I want him to answer that question. What does that mean right there?
Mm-hmm.
You can keep going.
And it reads, it says, and I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them.
Right. All right. Because, you know, Israel was going off. Okay. And when you go into the history, Israel did repetitive behavior of serving gods, and then they will come back to the Lord. You know, serving gods, then they will come back to the Lord. Okay. Serving other gods, such as idols. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And hey, brother, anything you want to add, you know, go ahead. Feel free.
I got a quick scripture I wanted to bring out, which is another cut. You know what I'm saying? This is Nehemiah 1:8. Okay. And this is the Most High speaking. He says, remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. Right? Didn't Israel transgress? Didn't we go against the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave us?
Yep. Yep. And that's another. Didn't that say will? Didn't that just say will again? Right. So, you know, since this guy wants to play semantics, we can do the same. I mean, we can give you a scripture, since you want to use that word will, since you want to harp on that would versus will, right? Then we can give you an example of will, where he said he will, since you want to harp on that so much, right? And this guy is proud too. You could tell.
Well, you know, a lot of it is what it is Esau is starting to actually feel, you know what I'm saying? He's actually starting to feel the heat from the true men of the Lord, you know? And like you never heard Jewish people coming out making videos trying to debunk the Hebrew Israelites. You know, you never heard that before. So you know, he's starting to these Amalekites, Esau, they starting to feel the heat.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And you're gonna have more so-called Jews that are gonna try to speak out against the Israelites. All right, the truth. All right, because you know right now their backs are into a corner. All right, and you know their true identity is being exposed as Amalek, right? Which they were Jewish converts. Okay, they stole our heritage, okay, and they stole all this stuff. What the hell is Judaism?
Right.
You know, that was our customs and our heritage that they basically stole. So these people are counterfeits. All right. So let's go into matter of fact, we'll just keep playing because I want to go into Jeremiah 17:4. All right, and as a matter of fact, let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Because since he thinks that the scriptures are applying to the so-called Jews, right? Let's go there and let's
Deuteronomy 28:64.
No, go to 48. Deuteronomy 28:48.
Deuteronomy 28:48.
Since this guy thinks he's such a scholar, let's see what he thinks about this.
Said Deuteronomy 28, correct?
28 and 48, yep.
28 and 48. All right, this is Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron around thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
All right, stop right there. So all I did right here is I Googled yoke of iron, right? Which you should be able to see on your screen right now. All you got to do is Google yoke of iron. And what do you see?
You see the so-called black men with the ring around his neck.
Yeah, that's the yoke of iron. That's right. You know, so this, where in history did Amalek have a yoke of iron around his neck, or is that spiritual and not physical? And that's the spirit too, because it says which one fit the curse. And you see this dirty Jew right here. I'm gonna zoom in.
I can't see it on my end.
Oh, you can't see it. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me go back to it.
But I see which one because I got it pulled over my computer. So you got the old white, yeah, I got that right there.
Right there, right? So there you go. Which one fits the curse? See that? And that's the spirit, because we're going into it. And that's a question. That's another question to this guy. Okay. The Deuteronomy 28 and 48. You know, deal with that. Deal with that. What about yoke of iron? It says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All right. Now, where's the history of where's the history of Amalek? Basically, you know, and as a matter of fact, let's go to 68. Okay. Because where's the history of Amalek going into slavery? Okay.
All right. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And that's talking about our homeland. All right. And it says, and there shall be, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, which means no one shall redeem you. You can be stuck in that situation.
That's right. So as you see right here, this is the transatlantic slave trade. It says between 1650 and 1860, approximately 10 to 15 million enslaved people were transported from Western Africa to the Americas. Most were shipped to the West Indies, Central America, and South America. So it says shipped. Now, where else in history was anyone shipped? You know, and these are questions that this guy he doesn't want to deal with. All right. He's not going to deal with that. You know?
And just in case, you know, you're trying to say, well, Egypt was destroyed. Yes, because he wasn't talking about Egypt. The word Egypt is synonymous, you know what I'm saying, with slavery, bondage. And I got a scripture right here to back it up. This is Exodus 2:2. And it says, I am Yahawah thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Okay, so Egypt means house of bondage. Okay, and y'all wasn't taken into slavery. Y'all wasn't taken into bondage. You know, when did that happen?
Yep. Hey, go to Deuteronomy. Matter of fact, I'll bring it out real quick because this is a cut. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 3. That then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. Woo! That's a straight cut.
Straight cut.
You know, and there's that word will, right? There's that word will, right?
Hey.
So this is prophecy, okay? All right. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna keep going. It says, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. There's that word will again. I'm gonna keep going. And the Lord thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. Right? So this guy is gonna try to say that he's gonna try to say that you know they've inherited the land, right? You know, if this guy does a response, he might try to say, oh well, yeah, there it is. It says he will bring thee into a land which thy fathers possessed, right? But who, first of all, who originally possessed the land of Israel? Right? Because you damn Jews, you so-called Jews, you know that wasn't your original land. You know?
No.
And as a matter of fact, that guy, I forget his name, that Egyptian president, right? He came out and said it. He said that the Jews, I forget his name. I could look for it real quick, but he said that the Jews, they left black and they came back white. Came back white. That's right. You know. Did you have anything?
No, I was just gonna say, you know, the Balfour Agreement, man, that's what gave y'all particular land, because the scripture says that the Most High, He is going to gather it. He didn't say that it was going to be some type of treaty signed that was going to put y'all into a land that was signed by men. He said that He was going to do it. Okay, He was going to gather His men, and when He gathered His men, that's going to be spiritual, and that you see the spiritual gathering happening right now, because you got men in the four corners of the earth, you know, that never even met each other, but they all on one accord, speaking the same gospel. You got men in London, you know what I'm saying, that's giving double honors to the apostles. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how in the world are you not seeing the spiritual house being built? You know, that the Most High is gathering His people right now.
Yep.
You know, right, and then on top of that, what is Judaism anyway? Judaism isn't reflective of the Bible. That's something that y'all came up with, man. You know, that's like a mixture of stuff, man. You know, and you said in your own video that you represent Judaism. Okay, so how can you represent one on the other hand, and then in the Bible on another, man? That's a hypocrite for you, man.
That's right. Yep. All right, so it was Gamal Abel Nasser. All right, and he said it on live television. He said, "You, the Jews, will never be able to live here in peace because you left here black but came back white. We cannot accept you." That was in 1952. And these Jews, like I said, these Jews, they know damn well that they not the real Israelites, man. You know, this guy knows, man. You know, this guy that's on this video, he knows, all right? But he's just trying to get, you know, he's just basically trying to get, you know, basically a few people, a few lost souls to believe him. But he knows, because you know what? A lot of these Jews that's higher up and in the know, they know who the hell they are. Okay, they know that they're the damn Edomites. Okay, and that's the reason why they want to run away from their true biblical nationality, because they know what's in store for Edom. Okay, and that's exactly why. All right, so we can keep going. All right, and we'll go ahead and keep cutting what this guy is saying.
Which would bring dishonor to God's holy name. That's a cut. That's a wrap. That's game over. There's no dancing around this.
No, it ain't. We just cut it.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 26 through 27 is the worst nightmare for the fake black Hebrew Israelites.
Really?
Because it shows that any fake group, any fake movement claiming that the Jews would ever forget who they were are either lying or completely ignorant or both. It clearly says that wouldn't happen, and even tells you why it wouldn't happen. There isn't a single passage in the entire Hebrew scriptures that makes the claim that Israel would forget who they were, ever. Not a single passage. But, as I mentioned in many of my videos, I've made many videos debunking them. That's why it's getting boring. I've made and shown that God says over and over that there would always be a righteous remnant, and there always has been. Us, the real Israelites, an unbroken chain of family line going back to Moses at Mount Sinai. They can't provide that proof. We can. Nothing.
Go to Romans 8 and 16. Real quick, I will shot.
All
right, because we really don't need you know, artifacts and you know, we don't have to dig up certain you know men's graves or look up archaeological remnants, okay, for us to know that we the Israelites. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. This is Romans 8:16, and it says, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High.
That's right. So the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit. So what meaning really everything that we're bringing out in this lesson, right? Everything, the evidence in Deuteronomy, right? All these things, the when you go into the curses of Deuteronomy, guess what? That's in line with our spirit, okay? Mm-hmm. That's in line with, excuse me, that's in line with us today, okay? The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's how we're able to know spiritually that we're the Israelites, because it all matches up. Everything that's in this book, it's in a line with our spirit, all right? Spiritually, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they fit all the curses. And as you see, this guy, one thing that this guy doesn't go into is the curses. He's running away from that. You know,
because he can't, because he know that the moment that he goes into the curses that he's gonna get cut. He's gonna cut himself by going into the curses, because he's gonna say to himself, well, my people don't fit none of this. We didn't go through this. We're not cursed going into the city and coming out to the city. You know, we're not gonna go to our enemies for in hunger and in thirst, you know, and in want of all things. You know, he ain't gonna do that. But what people has to do that, okay? What people who serve another nation and whose substance another nation that knows not shall eat up, okay? Because that's happening to us in America. I mean, didn't the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans build this country up? Didn't the so-called white man eat up everything that we did? Didn't he? Mm-hmm. Right? When did that happen to y'all? You know? Well, y'all want to sit there and talk about the Holocaust, you know, but there was over 300 million so-called black people that died just on the way to the Americas. We're not talking about the other 300 years that they were in captivity. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when did that happen to you?
You can't answer.
You know.
Mm-hmm. So
see, the thing is that, you know, everybody. I'm gonna say it like this, but roughly paraphrasing, everybody, you know, everybody want to be black, but nobody want to be black, you know, right. So to speak. Yeah. You know, you want to have the heritage of a so-called Israelite man or so-called black man, whatever you want to say. You want to have his heritage, but you don't want to be him per se. Mm-hmm. You know, that's exactly what it is, man. You know, you want to have the heritage and the right to Israel, but then you want to denounce us at the same time.
Mm-hmm. That's right, bro. That's right. So we'll keep going on the video.
They even use Jeremiah chapter 17 verses 2 through 4, which says,
and I can't wait till he butchers this. But we'll go ahead and play it. Let me charge my computer real quick.
So children, remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places for sin in all thy borders, and thou shalt discontinue from thy heritage. This is what they use. Anyone with half a working brain, which is not what we're dealing with here, can see that the heritage is dealing with the land.
All right.
Discontinue from their land, referring to their exile.
I got a scripture to even cut that right here. This is 1 Kings 9:7. And it says, then I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. Okay, so since you want to talk about the land, yeah, he said that he was going to cut us off. Okay, and his house, which I have hallowed for my name, I will cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. Right? So The Most High said that he was going to cut us off of our land. He cut us off from our land. What do we call? Niggas, spicks, wetbacks, you know? Any name except what we really are.
Yep.
When did that happen to you?
Mm-hmm. And when you go into that word, heritage, right? It says possession, property, inheritance, right? Okay. Which, of course, we know that the land of Israel was Slakia. Of course, we know that the land of Israel is the promises. Okay, that's the possession, right? But let's put it this way: when did the Jews ever get when did they? If you're going to use Jeremiah 17:4, if we're using that logic, then when did y'all get fall from remembrance of your land, right? When, because you were never originally there, you know. You were never originally there, so how can you get how can you get removed from a land that you were never, because we just went into it. All right, I'm gonna read it again. And thou, even thou, Jeremiah 17:4, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. All right. Now, just putting two and two together, right? Just putting two and two together. It says we will discontinue and will serve our enemies, right?
That's right.
What does that remind you of in history? That should remind you of we just went into it, the transatlantic slave trade, where our heritage, right? It was stripped from us, okay? Our knowledge was stripped from us, all right? And it says, to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, which is what we're doing now, all right?
And just to add to your point, there was a movie out called Roots, right? And there was a movie where they had a so-called black man. He was just to go into your point, how our heritage was stripped away. And this is just a movie, but it gives you an idea of what they did to strip our heritage away. But they had him hanging up, and they was beating him with a whip. And he kept asking me, he said, "Boy, what's your name?" He kept saying, "My name is Kunta Kinte." He said, "No, boy, your name is Toby." So he kept beating him. And finally, he said, "Boy, what's your name?" And he said, "My name is Toby." You see what I'm saying? So he literally beat the heritage out of him. Like, you can't call yourself by the name that you inherited. You got to call yourself by the name that I'm giving you, you know? And it's the same to this day, because what do we have now? We got last names, right? Who do we get our last name from? Our slave owner. The ones who owned us, owned our family when we were in the heavy captivity in America.
That's right. And Israel is a people before it's a place, you know? Israel, and that's what cuts his argument, is that Israel is our inheritance, right? Is really not only is it the land, but it's the inheritance of kingship. Okay, all right. It's the inheritance of coming into this knowledge, coming into this truth. Okay, all right. Israel is a people before it's a place. All right, so we inherit the kingdom of Israel. Not only the land of Israel, because it's bigger than that. But this guy, he's not spiritual, so he can't see that. All right. So we're gonna keep going.
Hence, it refers to the altars, groves, substance, treasures, high places, and borders. They don't even read it properly. It doesn't say a word about them forgetting they were Jews. Not only that, if it was dealing with their ethnic identity, which it clearly isn't, it would contradict Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 26 through 27. Some fake black Hebrew Israelites will even try to use Isaiah chapter 1, this is the hilarious part, verses 2 through 3, to claim the Jews would somehow forget that they were Jews. This just shows how desperate they are to promote this made-up fairy tale, because aside from the fact that it's merely dealing with the Israelites rebelling against God, Isaiah chapter 1, verses 2 through 3 isn't even a prophecy. In other words, it's speaking in the present tense. If you read it carefully, which they don't, it tells you just that. It says Israel does not know. Not Israel will not know.
No.
Does not know.
See, and that's that semantics again.
Mm-hmm.
You have something you want to say? Yeah,
I was about to say, like, if you really read it in context, it doesn't give a past, present, or future tense. Basically, it's saying, hear, O heavens, and give an ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and an ass his master's crib, but Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider. Now think about the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and so-called Indians today, right? Do you see our people as a whole going to the Most High? No. Aren't our people as a whole still rebelling against the Most High? Do they consider? No, they don't. We're out there on the highways and the byways all the time. Every week we're on the highways and the byways, right? So we see it that our people don't consider, right? So this was a past, present, and future tense statement. It was covering past, present, and future, because until we get into the kingdom and the laws, statutes, and commandments are written in our inward parts, Israel gonna continue to go off.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. And you know what also proves that we left our heritage, or left the knowledge of who we were, is, hey, YAHAWASHI said, I'm sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So if that's the case, then if there's no lost, then what was he talking about there? If there's no one lost to to their heritage, if there's no one that's lost to who they are, right? Because hey, the Jews, the so-called Jews, they know they're the Jews. So who would be the lost sheep then? Who's that talking about? You know? And that goes to show you these guys don't know what they're talking about. What was the point of the book of Acts? Okay? What was the point of Paul waking up the strangers, if that's the case? You know? Because, you know, the Paul was his Paul and the apostles, right? Their job was to wake up those Gentile strangers, the Gentile foreigners, those that didn't know they are Israelites, right? So that alone shows you that there is going to be Israelites who don't know who they are, right? How many you know how many scriptures it is talking about Israel being in darkness and being why does Jeremiah 4:22, it says my people are sawed as children, or Hosea 5:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right?
But you know, those scriptures don't mean anything to this guy, you know, because according to you, your people already know. You know, according to you, y'all people ain't sottish. You know, y'all know who y'all are, and y'all always have known who y'all are. You know.
That's right. Let's keep going.
Obviously, the Israelites knew they were Israelites during Isaiah's time. So that completely obliterates this false interpretation of this passage by the fake black Hebrew Israelites. They have no case. In the long list of bogus fake claims, the fake black Hebrew Israelites point to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, that it proves the Atlantic slave trade out of Africa to America. Wrong again. Fail. You know why? They forgot to read verse 52, which specifically says that all of these things, this destruction, would happen in the land that I promised your forefathers. What land is that? We all know it's Israel, not Africa, So again, fail.
Go to what did he quote? Deuteronomy 28 and 52.
Deuteronomy 28 and 52.
52.
Yeah, kind of. I got it if you want me to bring it out.
Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls.
That's not. Oh yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah, keep going.
Whereas thou trusted throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which YAHAWAH which the Most High have given thee.
First of all, that's talking about First of all, that's not even talking about Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is talking about. He says Egypt. So what the hell is this guy talking about? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, because 52 is talking about. It says throughout all thy land which the Lord thy power hath given thee. Right.
But
when you read 68, the first it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. So what the hell is this guy talking about?
Because in Deuteronomy.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say in Deuteronomy 28 and 52, he was talking. If you read it in context, he was talking about an invasion in the land that they were in. Like the land that they were in, that they had already had established, it was going to be broken down and besieged, you know, right. And y'all was going, and they were going to be destroyed in that land, which means destructured. Their society, their way of living was going to be destructured, and that happened.
That's right. Yep. Period. Point blank. And that also goes. Hey, that's right after we're in 48 where we said where we brought out the yoke of iron. You know. So Deuteronomy 28 this doesn't work in your favor, man.
Guys ever in slave ships to Egypt? And I'll tell you, as I said in many of my videos, in the year 70 AD, this is well documented. The fact that they don't even know this history shows once again that they are the fake Black Hebrew Israelite cult on YouTube that are not the real thing, or they would know this. Another fact, not only do we fulfill this in the year 70 AD, we, the Jews, to literal Egypt, also, this was fulfilled, all the curses were fulfilled in biblical times in the exile to Assyria and Babylon. This is well documented in Scripture. Again, they don't study Scripture. They don't know Scripture.
I gotta go back.
Other fact, not only do we fulfill this in the year 70 AD, we, the Jews, to literal Egypt, also, this was fulfilled, all the curses.
How do they fulfill that in Egypt when when the Egyptians were dark-skinned?
This guy is so finished. And another thing that I had noticed too, you know, and which makes me it just hit me, like this guy's probably some type of agent, because he keeps saying Black Hebrew Israelites, Black Hebrew Israelites, Black Hebrew Israelites. You know, he just beating that point in. And we don't claim to be a Black Hebrew Israelites. We are Hebrew Israelites. This is not a color thing. This is a nationality thing. This is a lineage thing, man. You know, we got men that look like you that are in our camps, man. That sit there and talk about how he gonna put your people in slavery, man, when that day come. Okay? So what are you talking about? This is not a Black Hebrew Israelite thing. This is not a color thing. This is a nationality thing, man. This is a seed line thing. That's what we're talking about here.
That's it. Yep.
Were fulfilled in biblical times in the exile to Assyria and Babylon. This is well documented in Scripture. Again, they don't study Scripture.
And he doesn't understand that history repeats itself. You know? That's what he doesn't understand is prophecy. Because Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is prophecy.
They don't know Scripture. So they fail on every single thing that they claim. Next, they try to point to the Ethiopian Jews. I know the Ethiopian Jews. We all know the Ethiopian Jews and the Lemba Jews, and they don't even claim to be the originals, yet you do. And you are in no way credible like they are, and they don't claim to be the originals.
What dictates credibility?
Israelites.
Say it.
I said, what dictates credibility?
Right.
How do you establish credibility? Where do you establish that at? Because what we're saying is that the scripture says that our spirit bear witness with the spirit that we are the children of the living power. Okay? So there is no physical way. You can't sit there and genetically go back and say, okay, we're the Hebrew Israelites. There's no way to find that out. Okay? Our spirit bear witness against the spirit from the things that we've been through in this nation called America, the things that as men that we go through here, our history being transported from one side of the continent to another, having a man named Cristobal Colon coming to the coast of Africa with 5 Hebrew interpreters. Since you're talking about history, documented history, he had 5 Hebrew interpreters. Mm-hmm. He came over to the coast of Africa, west coast of Africa, to bring us back to the Americas. So what are you saying? All this is mainstream history. You can look into this.
Yep.
This stuff happened.
That's right. And his higher ups, they know. This guy is he's a low level. He ain't on no level because any so-called Jewish person that's on a level, they know who we are.
Okay. But this is just Esau's Slakia. I was going to say that this is just Esau's futile attempt again, because he always sends some type of agent out, to try to debunk us, but he can't, because we're speaking through the spirit, man. This is a spiritual thing. This isn't a carnal thing that we're talking about, that we're doing.
That's right.
We out on the highways and the byways week in and week out, risking our lives, man. With the only thing that we have is our faith and belief that we're gonna be rewarded on the other side, man. You're not doing that.
Yeah, and we don't need to bring out some family tree. I go back to so and so, and bring out the whole line. Hey, and even if we did, y'all wouldn't even believe it. Even if we did have a family tree, where we can prove, our lineage goes back, they wouldn't accept it. Okay, so that just goes to show that they're really just anti-Israelites. Whatever we say, they just go against it. That's it. I'm gonna keep going.
Israel. They were there when we left Israel, and they saw it when we came back. They know who left and who came back. And I'm close to them too. We know each other. So the Samaritans.
Y'all never left and came back. You came there, That was you got the land, okay? You got the land really fairly recently in history. Not even that long ago,
And Israelites also debunked your fake, phony claims with your fake claim as well about the president of Egypt, which I debunked myself. And I will leave the link to show that the president of Egypt never made this claim. It's fake. Their whole list of claims are fake. Everything they post is fake. So it's no surprise that they would make the bogus claim that the president of Egypt says they left black and they came back white. He said that was not true. And I have the claim right here. Look in the description box. You'll see.
And Lord willing, next video we'll go into that too. All right, because really, it doesn't even matter. I mean, we'll use that as evidence, right? We use that as how do I say, ammunition, but we don't even really need that. Okay, because and really we don't even need this devil to acknowledge, because they're not going to acknowledge anyway. Hey, you know how many scriptures go into Esau being a deceiver? Hey, I'll tell you what, we can definitely tell you who you are just based off of your we can tell this guy who he is based off of his actions. He's a damn deceiver. This guy's a damn deceiver.
I got a quick scripture real quick.
Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 30 and starting at verse 1. And it says, the word of the Most High came to Jeremiah, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of power of Israel, write these and all words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith Yahawah, thy power, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave their fathers, and they shall possess it. Okay? Now, going down to verse 30, and it says, for thus saith the Most High, I have heard the voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Now, the reason why I brought the scripture out is because when did y'all go into captivity?
Right.
When did that happen? You know, because it says that he said that he's going to bring us again, which means that we left, we were taken from that land, and he brought us back. Like he brought us there before, you know, because when the Israelites were in the wilderness for 40 years, he after that generation had died off, he brought them back to the land. He brought them to the land of milk and honey, which was Israel, right? So he said that he's going to bring us again, and from the captivity that we were in, and we're going to possess that land. Well, the most recent captivity was when the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were put in slavery.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you know, these guys, they really can't deal with facts, man. You know, they and that's like I said, he doesn't deal with the captivity side of things. He didn't bring it up once in his video, you know?
Sure.
All right. So let's see. I don't think it's too much.
Have it. Need I say more? And I'm going to put a link in the description box to a full presentation I did a while back debunking each and every other.
And that's pretty much it. But Lord willing, we'll go into another video this devil has and cut that up too.
Con.
You know? Hey, so you had anything else, bro?
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. You know, hey, these Amalekites are being exposed, and this guy is clearly butthurt, man. That's why he's going into this. You know, and like I said, we don't need evidence and artifacts and you know, dig up Solomon's grave to know that we're Israelites. You know. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you brothers will edify. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles. Shalom.
Shalom.